90% of the food we eat is imported. We're fed by ships and planes. And with so little land to grow our own, Singapore has to learn how to rely on itself by challenging what food can be. Insects, cultivated meat, and edible food once destined for the bin, now rescued, upcycled, and served again. This is how Singapore reinvents food.
So this is our tom yum roasted silkworms. When you roast insects, right, they really just become crispy. We actually launched our cricket protein bar. You won't see any crickets at all. It's just a very well-rounded protein bar.
Yuen Sheng was just 19 and a student at Republic Polytechnic when Altimate Nutrition was started. Along with 3 partners, they hatched a plan to solve a problem during a crisis.
COVID was when the company was born. You know how people were snatching food off the shelf, and then the government was like implementing food security as like a main topic. We wanted to come up with a product that can address food security. So there's plant-based, there's cell-cultured meat, but one thing that we were shocked is that insect proteins weren't regulated. So we wanted to become the first company in Singapore to have approved edible insect products that's rolled out to the market.
After 3 years, regulations passed and Altimate Nutrition secured a factory in Thailand, a place most economically viable for cricket farming. Their goal? To scale up their cricket production exponentially.
We know that insects are high in protein. They are easily farmed. It only takes about 30 days, 45 days to raise it to adulthood. To produce 1 kg of crickets, you possibly need about 2 to 3 kg of feed only. But to produce 1 kg of beef, you need about 25 kg of feed and about 24,000 liters of water and only less than 100 to farm crickets.
Up north at Republic Polytechnic, this shipping container is a cricket farm showroom built for learning. Here, students and anyone curious can get right up close and see the true scale of a cricket farm.
So inside the shipping container, we house about 300 crickets per box. We teach about what the crickets eat, what are the behaviors. Okay, the maintenance of the crickets is very simple. Generally, you just need to make sure that they have enough food, got access to clean water. Around day 30, right, this substrate should be already there. So this is where the female crickets will lay their eggs. We harvest them during day 45. It's adult stage, efficient enough for us to make a produce.
But let's be honest, crickets don't exactly have the best public relations team, and Altimate Nutrition knows that. They're not pretending the ick factor doesn't exist. They're tackling it head on.
Would you eat insects? Many Singaporeans actually very ick about the question itself. The visual factor comes in number 1. The idea of it being hygienic. So this can be educated. That's why we go to schools, letting them try the insects. And once they tried it, it almost converts instantly when they find, oh, it's okay. It tastes very natural actually. We launched our protein bars, which you won't see any legs or whatsoever sticking out. It's just made out of cricket powder with other natural ingredients. So all it takes is really just positioning, marketing, and a little bit of education. Insects are very similar to crustaceans, meaning prawns, lobsters, crabs. Because the protein found inside is also found on the shellfish, like your chitin protein. So generally, I like to call insects like the lobsters on land.
Taste matters as much as anything when it comes to food. But the team at ImpacFat has taken food sustainability one step further. They're creating fish fat without the fish.
We produce omega-3 fish fat using patented stem cell technology. Fish is the one that actually has a very high nutrition value, like omega-3, but at the same time, it has everything that we love in the fat, such as like the taste, the texture. One thing that we really want to ensure is that all Singaporeans should have the access to omega-3 in the future, no matter what happens in the world.
Mandy and her team of founders have been at this for 6 years. ImpacFat is the first in the world to grow fish fat this way, so there was no handbook to follow. They had to build the process from the ground up.
The process involved 4 key steps. So the first steps involve the isolation of the stem cells from the fishes itself. Step 2 will be screening through thousands of them to choose the best cells, and then we will have to produce our own cell line.
So a cell line is for us to be able to get back more and more cells. We wouldn't need to have to harvest more fishes. You can see that there are some that are very long, so these are actually healthier cells which we want.
Steps 1 and 2 took 3 years because they were chasing one breakthrough, a suitable cell line. Once they had it, they could replicate it again and again. Step 3 is growth. The stem cells go into bioreactors, and the magic begins.
So the spinner flask has a rotating propeller that helps to circulate the cells and the edible beads together. And this is done so that there's a higher surface area to volume ratio for them to grow.
In the final stage, the cells are monitored for safety. Once the cells grow into fish fat, it is ready for harvest. For now, ImpacFat is still in R&D. But Mandy and her fellow founders are already thinking much bigger.
The harvested fish fat is actually a very versatile product. Alternative proteins is one that we want to help in. And second product will be omega-3 supplements that we are looking into. And then pet food product is something that we are looking into as well. Last but not least, skincare product.
Every new industry attracts skeptics, and lab-grown fish fat is no exception.
There is always this misconception that lab-grown is very artificial, but in fact, it's actually very natural. The differences is just that we're actually growing it outside of the fishes instead of inside the fish body.
In 2024, the National Environment Agency estimated that 12% of the total waste generated in Singapore was food waste, close to 800,000 tons. And 3 students decided that what's deemed as excess could still serve a purpose.
So we first started Resavour during our university school days. We started brewing beer on our own and realized how much spent grains was generated when we were making beer. And we realized that there was immense nutrients in all these byproducts. We believe that all of these nutrients can be completely utilized so as to not let any of it go to waste.
Upcycling sits at the heart of the Resavour operations by taking what would have been discarded and transforming it into something of higher value. Resavour proves that waste isn't the end of the story.
So this is how the original malted barley looks like. So after it's being sent to the breweries as well as other malted beverage companies, they produce this malt extract, and then this is the spent grains that they later on produce.
Malt extract is essential for beer and plenty of other beverages. But the byproduct, spent grains, are another story.
With milling down into powders like this. So this is spent grain powder, so that it can be easily integrated into food products.
The powder becomes a versatile ingredient, especially in baking. Yes, you still need the usual suspects: butter, sugar, flour, chocolate. But dried spent grains also contain far more fiber and often more protein than regular flour, which makes them more than an able substitute.
We have a lot of different cookies. We have ginger snap, which is commonly sold during Christmas season. And then for Chinese New Year, we also do shortbreads as well. Beyond cookie applications, we are also able to integrate in high concentration in things like sourdoughs and breads.
Upcycling is the foundation, but the secret sauce for Chi Hung and his team, a fermentation process they've developed in-house and kept proprietary.
So we have fermentation techniques to allow these byproducts like spent grains and coffee grounds to be fermented such that not just the texture improve, but also the shelf life can be much longer. So this allows these byproducts to be processed at a much later time.
Upcycling spent grains helps keep usable food out of the waste stream which means fewer emissions from disposal. They also help build social responsibility into the way they operate by creating jobs and training opportunities.
For last year, we upcycled over 1.2 tons of food waste. It's approximately 1.5 tons of CO2 that is averted. Another proud measurement that we have is the social impact that we have created. We train and hire people with mental health conditions as well as other kinds of beneficiaries.
From insect protein, lab-grown fish fats, to creative upcycling, Singapore stays resilient in a world of shifting climates by reinventing food with innovation and imagination.